But the reason I had to learn to raise money was because I had no money. And so if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, in there, my rich dad always said, never say, I can't afford it.
Robert Kiyosaki wasn't born into money. Nope, he didn't grow up with a trust fund or a rich uncle handing him blank checks. In fact, his story is messy, full of mistakes, and honestly, that's what makes it so good. Because before Rich Dad, Poor Dad became the financial Bible for millions, Robert was broke, failing at business, and wondering how he'd ever get ahead. Let's rewind. Robert grew up in Hawaii, 1947. He had two father figures in his life. His real dad, his poor dad, was the classic example of doing everything right on paper. Highly educated, worked in government, and believed in the study hard, get a safe job, retire with a pension plan. Sounds solid, right? Except poor dad was always stressed about money. He was stuck in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Then there was his best friend's father, his rich dad. This guy wasn't highly educated, but he had one thing. Poor dad didn't: financial intelligence. He built businesses, bought assets, and made money work for him instead of the other way around. That difference, two dads, two mindsets, changed Robert's entire outlook. But don't think he instantly became a money genius. Nope. After school, Robert went to the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy, then joined the Marine Corps as a helicopter pilot during Vietnam. He learned discipline, leadership, and how to stay cool under pressure. Great life skills, sure, but financially, he was still lost. When he got out of the military, Robert landed a job at Xerox selling copiers. And here's the wild part. He was actually good at it. He became one of their top salesmen. But here's the catch. He hated the idea of being an employee, clocking in, clocking out, begging for raises, not for him. He wanted freedom, and that's when he jumped into business. Now, this is where things get bumpy. His first big idea, nylon and Velcro wallets. And at first, it looked genius. Surfers loved them. Stores stocked them. He even scored deals with big retailers. For a minute, it seemed like Robert was about to hit the jackpot. But here's the plot twist. He didn't understand manufacturing costs, cash flow, or how to scale. Within a few years, the company crashed. Bankruptcy. Most people would have said, well, guess business isn't for me. But Robert, he dusted himself off and went again. His next move was a t-shirt business, making merch for rock bands like Guns N' Roses and Metallica. Pretty cool gig, right? And for a while it worked. Money came in, the business grew, but once again, it wasn't sustainable. Boom, another collapse. So now he's broke again with two failed businesses under his belt. But here's the thing, those failures were secretly his best teachers. Because through all that chaos, Robert finally understood what his rich dad had been preaching all along. Don't just work for money, build assets, create cash flow. That realization was the turning point. Instead of chasing the next hot business idea, Robert dove into investing, especially real estate.
No, I'm not going to do that. And my rich dad said, you have to learn about debt and taxes. So I took a real estate course. I say the same thing. Take real estate courses, stock trading courses. I just learned about the game of money.
And have some patience.
Yeah,
right?
It takes about 5 years to get good at anything.
He bought rental properties, learned how to manage cash flow, and built streams of passive income. Slowly, he and his wife Kim pulled themselves out of the broke zone and into financial freedom. They weren't relying on jobs anymore. Their investments paid their bills. That's the moment Robert finally tasted the freedom he had been chasing all along. But here's what makes Robert different from most people who get rich. He didn't keep it to himself. He wanted to teach others what he'd learned the hard way. He and Kim started financial seminars and even created a board game called Cash Flow to help people practice making smart money moves. Fun idea. But the real magic happened in 1997 when he self-published Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Now, let's be real. At first, no one cared. He had to go bookstore to bookstore, basically begging them to carry it. But then, something crazy happened. People who read it couldn't stop talking about it. The story was simple but powerful. Two dads, two mindsets, two futures. It made people question everything they'd been taught about money. Word of mouth spread like wildfire. Then Oprah featured it. Boom. Overnight, Rich Dad, Poor Dad went from a small self-published book to a global phenomenon. Today, it's sold over 40 million copies worldwide, making it one of the most famous personal finance books in history, and turning Robert Kiyosaki into a household name. Robert Kiyosaki's journey proves you don't need to get it perfect. You just need to keep moving, learning, and making smarter choices. This is how it starts. One smart move at a time. Hit the next video and keep building the life you deserve. Take care, my friend.